Welcome to the High Performance Interviews, and today I am joined by Rani Thanacoody from Nottingham in the UK, just up the road from me. So welcome, Rani. How are you today?
Hello, Lucy. Thank you for the invitation. I'm really looking forward to talking to your audience. I am doing amazing after the work day. I am really looking forward to having a chat with you.
Ah, fantastic. It's lovely to have you here. So I'm going to just do a really quick introduction, but what I will be doing is asking you really to share your story, Rani. So Rani is a visionary entrepreneur, and as I said, she's based in the United Kingdom. As the esteemed founder of Amazing You, she has carved an incredible mark in the field of holistic wellness and is armed with a diverse array of qualifications. I'm not going to read out your qualifications because there are so many, but I would love you to share some of those and what you absolutely love the most, Rani. So give us a little bit of your background and how all of the above, which we haven't spoken about yet, has come about.
Yes, I think that's a really great question. How all of this came about is part of my story as a little girl. I was 4 years old when my grandmother passed away, and that was a big experience in my life, because I was so close to her. I felt so loved by her. She was the only one who would take the time to listen and to play with me. And when she passed away, nobody could fill that gap. My
Mm.
parents were there, but they couldn't understand me the way she would understand me because they had other things to look into for the house, to get the finance, to look after my little sister. So there was a lot for them. They moved to a new place. So my grandmother was really doing that job of taking the time with me. And that created a big emptiness, a big loss in my life that I never knew until after I started to go through that healing journey. And throughout my whole life, I felt confused. I felt alone. I felt very unsafe. I felt unloved. And I suppressed all these emotions. So the moment she passed away, I stopped expressing myself. I suppressed everything inside because that was my way of coping with her death. And grief is such a big thing. As adults, we take so long to recover from grief,
Yeah, we
go through
do.
the stages. But imagine as a child who just lost somebody very dear and couldn't make sense of the world because just for few years of being on earth, you don't understand things. Your brain is not developed. So this was a huge trauma, and I withdrew my whole life. I disconnected completely with the world in order to survive because that was my way of coping with life. I was very shy at school all throughout my secondary years and all throughout my life. And this impacted everything. But in addition of that, the family environment wasn't safe. I was often verbally abused, telling all sorts of things about my body. So I had a lot of frustration. I grew up always feeling that I have to be slim. I always watch my diet. I never ate chocolate. Oh my God, it was like a very, very strict life I was living because I was trying to please the people around me
Uh-huh.
in
Yeah.
order to get their approval. So I have to make sure I stay like that. So it's like I never nourish myself properly. So as I started working after doing my PhD, my master's degree in Australia, I started working all around the world in different universities. That's where I found a pattern of bullying starting to happen. And in 2017, I left the final job. It was too much, the bullying, and I went home back to Mauritius. That's where I am originally from. And I started to ask myself questions. Since 2014, the questions were coming up inside me. So why the bullying? Why me? What is going on? Why am I here? You know, we all ask this question at some point of our lives.
We do, yes, indeed.
So I've been asking myself, and even as a child, I never felt a sense of belonging. But more as I grew up. And when I went on that personal growth journey, 2014 to 2018, I was searching for the right modality to help me to understand what is going on with me. Because my caregivers were telling me it's something to do with you. And it's true. It's something to do with me, you know, how I interpreted things, how I suppressed my emotions. But I couldn't understand what they were telling me, and they couldn't understand either. But they knew something was wrong with me. Around 2018, I came back to the UK, found another job, and I knew that when I came back this time, it will be different. Things will be different because not only I'll be teaching, but I will find something deeper that I'm looking for. And the pandemic hit, that was the blessing in my life. I
Interesting.
found the course. I say, I'm not going to go to university because I've spent my whole life in university. I never understood the issues.
I
So
was going to say, you
theory,
said you did a PhD and everything. What was that in? Just quickly for our audience.
oh, I'm glad you said that. So my PhD was about relationships, about work-family balance. It
Oh,
was about burnout. It's about social support in organizations from supervisors and from colleagues, and how that helped to reduce turnover, but also how that helps the employees to do their job better, to feel more engaged. So
yes.
my whole life, I studied relationships, and in theory,
Yes, it's different in practice, right?
oh, because people used to tell me, when you do your PhD, you will understand yourself. That's completely false. Because you go into the theory, but you don't get to understand yourself. But when you do the inner work, that's when you understand yourself. Because you go into practice, you go inside of you, and you really, really you learn to sit in silence, to be with you, to, to really feel these emotions. Because doing the PhD, we are so busy thinking, doing other things. We don't have time to be in our heart. We
No,
don't
you're in
take
your head, you're in
time.
your logical mind, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why now I can connect the dots, like Steve Jobs said, you can only connect the dots when you look back. Because when you are in your head, you would never understand yourself. It's only when you go in the heart. And Rumi, very well-known philosopher, he said that. He said, the heart is the place where everything is inside, you know, the place where we can find all the treasures within us. So that's why I went through hypnotherapy, astrology, tarot reading, compassion, star magic, and all these modalities are about going within. And everything helped me.
Yes.
And studying all these modalities, learning, rediscovering myself, remembering who I am, because I lost myself throughout that life with that disconnection from the trauma. So I disconnected with who I am. I couldn't connect with people. So it was a huge disconnection in me, you know?
And then a huge rediscovery of you, right?
Yes, it's rediscovering when I start to peel those layers. It's like I am more than that. I discovered so many things. I feel more alive every day. I feel more happy within myself. I do not take things personally. Before, whatever everybody would say, I would be on edge. Ooh, I would be about to explode, Lucy. You know, I was like a ticking bomb. Anything you would say would trigger me.
Wow.
It was like I was on the defensive all the time. It's like when you are on survival mode, you are surviving, you have to defend yourself. So my body was under constant stress.
Yeah.
And it's been a huge transformation since then. I used to be shy. Can you believe that? I wouldn't say a word. I wouldn't raise my hand in class. Never.
And
I would,
sorry, I'm going to interrupt you
yes,
because I
yes.
think Ronnie and I are both in the same book, right? It's called I'm So Glad You Left Me. And we both had this shy thing going on, and we're both so glad that that shy thing left us.
Yes.
And this is where we connected, right? Because of that. And so I totally understand. There's no putting your hand up. You hide from cameras, you hide from conversations, you hide from everybody. And then you started to rediscover you, and it does feel good, doesn't it? It feels so good when that happens.
It's like freedom. It feels so good. I feel so alive. I've seen so many people. I teach with the young people a lot. And at 20, they are like dead people walking around because of the trauma inside. And I used to be like that too. I never had energy. But now, when I go to class, I am so energetic and I tell them, come on, everybody, you are only 20. You are much younger than me. You should have more energy than me. But no, we would not have energy if we don't peel those layers. It is normal because it's all the trauma, those emotions trapped in your body that drains you inside
Yeah.
without you knowing. And you sleep a lot when you have trauma. Lucy, I used to sleep a lot when I was young, and now I understand why a lot of people sleep a lot, because it's the trauma. We have to sleep so that we shut down, we don't think of that pain, we don't feel the pain, so it's a way of escaping the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And many, like you're saying, many people do carry trauma without even realizing it. And it can come not just from this lifetime, but it can also come from past lives, past generations, and you really don't know that that's going on. And so dealing with trauma, and it doesn't need to be super traumatic, like, seeing somebody being killed or something like that. It's just an emotional trauma, like your grandma when she died. And you said you were 4 when that happened?
Yes,
Four
I
years
was
old.
4 years old when that happened, and
So very impressionable.
yeah, and then it's after that, because the trauma was so huge for that little child, for my inner child,
Yes.
and there was nobody around who could sit down and help me to express that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after that, I was sexually abused at kindergarten. Yeah.
And so now you've gone through this rediscovering of who you are, going through all of those modalities. So what is your passion now? What is the thing that you're focusing in on more now, Rani, to help others?
What I'm focusing on, I have a podcast called Amazing You. So I decided to start that podcast around the time that I was going through that personal growth healing journey in 2019, 2020. And I was on a course with Les Brown, a very well-known American motivational speaker, and he would tell us people need to hear your voice. And I'd never heard of Les Brown in my life, but a friend told me, listen to that motivator. So I listened, and I found him so interesting that I joined his course.
Yeah.
And from him here saying that, I say, who will I help? I don't have anything to say because I've teach management, and this is such a boring topic. What would people learn from that? But one day, I had a friend far away in Mauritius. She was going through some tough times. She was going through a time where the family really treated her very poorly. She lost her job, and she was very sick because she couldn't even eat because the pain was so much inside. She was throwing. It's like the body was rejecting food. And I could understand that, from understanding trauma. I say, no, I need to step in. Just calling her would be, I never call her usually. I say, I need to find a way to call her. And every relative rejected her, and I talked to her every Saturday for a month, and just help being there for her, listening to her, giving her some ideas what she can do. And she still realized that it's her life, because before she was playing the victim, it's everybody. But I say, you can do something because this is your life. People can say what they want, but this is your life, and you only have one life. It's very short, this lifetime, 100, 110, 120. I say, it's your life. You need to take your life in your hands. Your father cannot, your sister cannot. They can say what they want, but you have to take actions to create the life that you want.
And that's such an important message.
Oh, yes. I say, find a job again. You can't sit at home like that. Let people tell you all sort of things, and she started applying. She never had a proper phone. So she got a smartphone, one that I could WhatsApp her. And she bought a laptop. I said, get a laptop, get a WhatsApp, get YouTube. At least you get so much information that you can educate yourself, and learn so much from good things that
Yes.
you have on social media. There are some really great motivational speakers, and you can really grow and learn if you look at the right thing. And we are so lucky to have that now, because when I was a child, this didn't exist. This kind of information was hidden from society for a long time. So she started doing that, and she got back her life. She found a job. Now she's working in a great company. She's much happier. And at that time, I say, I'm so glad that what I say, the few words help her. Why not create a podcast? And that's the idea, when the idea of the podcast came. So I had no experience doing podcasts, Lucy. And I didn't know where to start, but the idea came. I asked one of my students doing a master, I said, how do we upload on YouTube? She just explained briefly. Then I did a lot of learning by myself, just trying this, trying that, going here, And I did some other courses, but a lot was learning by myself. And I say, now, well, who do I invite? That's another question.
And where are they? Where are they hiding?
Yes. And then I had a friend. She moved to Sri Lanka. She married a guy. She moved there and she started her own business. I said, let me start by helping her, helping her to build her business.
Yes.
It wasn't about me, it was about her. How can I help her? And I say, would you be interested in doing an interview and sharing your business so that people get to know your business, the great thing that you are doing? And I'm so glad she said yes. It's not I'm so glad you left me, but I'm so glad she said yes here. And we did it. So it was during the pandemic. She agreed. We did the first interview and I had 198 viewers. So she got this big social audience herself. And from that day, I started to meet people on different platforms, on different groups. A lot of them are my friends from the Les Brown Power Academy. I met different groups. That's where I met you. We shared the book together and so many incredible guests from all over the world. And it's been life-changing, listening to their stories, learning from them, from their stories of inspiration, of hope, of resilience. It's been the best time of my day every day when I switch off from work and either I am on podcasts like with your podcast or I interview my guests. It's the best time of my day, Lucy. And I'm so grateful for every part of that journey,
And so where do you think that's going to take you? What's your vision, Rani, for that?
My vision is to continue writing. I love writing. I never knew that I love writing so much. I hated writing academic materials. And I love writing books. I've got 3 other books coming. So one called Women of Purpose. And then the next book is called Abundance. And next, it's coming, I think, in sometime in July. And next one is coming... Oh my God, it's 4 books. One is called Miracles Now in April. And then another book, Compassionate Hearts, sometime in August next year. So got a lot of co-authorship.
Yes, a lot happening in 2025, right?
Yes, I'm so excited. I am having a special session with a psychic medium and an energy activator on the 24th. So we are doing a collaboration together where she's going to help people to connect with their inner self, but she's going to use some codes to activate, to help to their healing process much faster. So that is fantastic because I have experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
And it is super powerful. The changes are quick. It's like you develop so many of your gifts. So this is what we are having on Sunday, the 24th of November. More collaborations. I definitely am looking for collaborations with coaches, anybody interested to work together, to do sessions, to help the society, to help people to raise the level of consciousness, and we were talking about that, not to be in that victim mentality, but to be in that victor
Yes.
approach where we start to take action, where we take responsibility for our life, and we stop blaming the government, we stop blaming our country, we stop the blame for the people around us, but we start to look within us and say what I can do for my country. Well, even if it's not my country, every land that you put your feet, it's
Yes.
your country, because this earth belongs to you.
Yes.
It's not only to one person. So this earth is Mother Earth. It's our earth. So we need to look after it, to nurture it, and we need to take responsibility for every of our action, because if we don't, like they say that hurt people hurt others. So if we don't heal ourselves, do our inner work, we are going to definitely hurt other people unconsciously by
And the
being
opposite.
triggered.
The opposite is true, right? When we do the healing, when we do the
Oh,
inner
yes.
work, we can understand, we can empathize with other people who have gone through the same thing. Like you with your friend in Mauritius, you totally understood where she was coming from because of your own life experiences. And so you were able to help her take back control and take responsibility for her own life. And again, that's such a powerful message to send out into the world. And by the way, if you're listening in thinking I would love to collaborate or chat further with Rani, all of the links are going to be in the description box below this video. So you can go there and find out more and connect with Rani. And so Rani, are there any top tips, like 3 top tips you might have for our listeners who are wanting to reach their level of high performance, which I believe is when you find your purpose, when you understand your purpose, and you're heading towards your, what I call your North Star, which it sounds exactly like you're doing.
3 tips for the viewers. Start work on healing yourself. Everybody has trauma. So even if it's big or small, we all have trauma. Our little child, parts of it has been wounded. And we need to start reparenting that child, heal that child, and become whole again. When you are whole again, then life will be different. You won't feel triggered. Life will flow with ease and grace. So do the inner work, invest in yourself, in your personal growth. This is what I've done, and this has been life-changing. Don't think I don't have the money and all that. No, invest, the money will come, because it's all in your mindset. When you change the way you think, like Dr. Wayne Dyer said, everything around you changes. And the other thing is love yourself. And the Book of Life say, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So we cannot love others if we don't love ourselves. And all of us, we have betrayed ourselves. We have disconnected from ourselves in some way or another. As a baby, we start that in the womb, Lucy. We start to create some beliefs about what is going on in our mom's life, and we take that personally from the womb. Yeah, and even from past life, we carry all that. So that's why I would say start to love yourself, because the longest romance you will ever have, like Oscar Wilde said, is with yourself. And the longest relationship you will have is with yourself.
Yeah. And it needs to be, you need to love yourself first. The first person you should fall in love with
Absolutely.
is yourself.
Then you can have compassion and understand them. Because if you don't love yourself, you wouldn't. You would be reacting to every situations in life. So find the love, because the love is not outside of you. Don't go and think the relationship, the man will bring me the love. And no, the love is you. It's always there. It's not outside. It's not in a partner. A partner can only make you happier, but it cannot make you happy if you're not happy with yourself.
So true. Such wise words. Absolutely. Totally agree with all of that. And
And
so you're doing the self-work and self-love, absolutely. And invest in yourself, invest
yes,
in you, because you are, like Rani says, you're going to be there for your whole life. Not everybody else is going to be there. So you are the most important person in your life. So invest in yourself. In
can I
any,
say something, Lucy? And I got
yes.
a quote. So just one quote to summarize all that. You are the treasure that you have been seeking.
Oh, love that. You are the treasure that you have been seeking. Ooh, is that your quote, Rani? Or
It is my quote.
I love that. We're going to put that in the comments as well. Fantastic. Is there anything left on your heart that you'd like to share, Rani?
Yes. Start to learn to parent that inner child. Talk to yourself because it all comes to two things. The the thought we create and the words we say to ourselves. Start to think good things about you because my clients say so many bad things in the session that they find out about themselves. They say they are stupid, they are this, they will not love. So start to say good things. You are the creator of your life. So say good things to yourself. Don't be hard on yourself, even though people have been hard. But now start to be kind to yourself. Think good things about yourself and praise yourself. Value yourself. So important. And if you do these two, you will have a great life
Yeah.
because you are the creator of your life.
Yeah, and you start to lift yourself up then.
Yes.
It's not anybody else's responsibility. They might do it as well. It's like the love thing. If you start to lift yourself up by the words that you speak about you, then other people will resonate with that and they'll start to reflect what you're saying about yourself. You might find already that if you're saying bad things about yourself, that other people are saying bad things too, because you're bringing that to you. And so, yes, I hope that you have had some great value. I'm sure you have with Rani. Thank you for listening in. Rani, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. And there's going to
Thank
be another video showing up on screen. So I'm going to see you over there. And in the meantime, Rani, have a great day. And thank you again for joining us.
Thank you so much to you and to your audience. And remember that you are amazing. You have always been. You always will be amazing.